Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Boss Bounty video. And in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Cantina Adventure set. So this set is a Pulse exclusive, although I managed to pick this up from In Demand Toys here in the UK. They often manage to pick up import stock, and on this occasion this set came up for pre-order and it arrived this morning, so thank you to the guys over at In Demand Toys. Now this set was actually made famous when it went up for pre-order in the fact that nobody could really pre-order it. It went out of stock super quick, and it caused a lot of controversy in the sort of collector community. Hasbro took their time about it, but I think they sorted it out, and I think most people that wanted this set have now managed to pre-order it. But I have it in hand for you guys now to take a look at. We will be taking a look at the outer packaging, and we will be opening all 4 of the carded figures that are included in this set, which does seem a little bit of a shame because they are pretty cool looking card backs. But I want to check out the figures as well in this review, and we'll compare them against their sort of standard counterparts that we have in the Vintage Collection. Apart from Greedo, of course, because we don't actually have that new Greedo in hand. He's packed in with the HasLab Cantina, which we all should have, hopefully, in a few weeks' time. So, with all that being said, if you're to enjoy the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let's take a look at the packaging. Alright then, so here's the front of the box, and it's probably too obvious for me to say that this is a huge nod to the original Kenna line. I do believe that the Cantina Adventure set back in the day was a Sears exclusive, and it was the set where you could get Blue Snaggletooth, which we do have included in this modern interpretation of the set, which is pretty cool. All of the characters in this set are sort of produced in their garish colours, which does match the original Kenna line. So there you can see all of the characters on the front there. We get the 4 carded figures. They're all carded. As I said, we are going to be opening them all up. And you also get the cardboard backdrop, just like you did back in the Kenna days. And when this thing was first revealed, there was a lot of comments saying, you know, this should have been like a retro collection piece. And whilst I can kind of understand what those people are saying, and I kind of agree as well, I also think it's pretty cool to have in the Vintage Collection, and it is an opportunity for us to get a Blue Snaggletooth, and also for Hasbro to, you know, make use of the Hammerhead sculpt, which I'm sure they're sort of dying to do, considering how much that figure probably cost them to make. But when we look at the top of the box there, we can see just a few more images. You've got the single images of each character, and then there they are in the diorama once again. Side of the box has the big Star Wars logo and just another image of the set itself. Other end of the box is exactly the same, and the back of the box is exactly the same to the front of the box, except for the fact that you have all of the warning stuff going on here. You have the Vintage Collection logo top right, and also there you can see the import sticker there. So that is definitely an import from In Demand Toys. Just going back to the front again, classic double racetrack design, super awesome box. I would imagine some people out there that have ordered this set might want to just keep it in box like this. Other people might have just bought it for the card backs and want to display the figures on their cards. I'm going to be opening them up in this review. So let's open the box and check them all out. Okay then, and this is how the contents have been packed into that box. They're in a nice cardboard tray, really sturdy. The figures are sort of packed on top of each other, and then we've got the cardboard backdrop underneath there. So we're just going to remove it all, and then we'll check it out. Right then, so before we take a look at the cardboard backdrop, we're just going to take a look at the carded figures very quickly before we open them. Now, what I've noticed about them as well, and it's maybe something that I couldn't remember from when they were first revealed, is that they are numbered, which I don't think I really agree with. Like, these for me are kind of like gimmicky figures. They are a blatant nod back to the original Kenna line. They are in the original sort of Kenna colours. I don't really feel that they should be in the main line of Vintage Collection figures personally. That's just my opinion on it anyway. And I've got them in number order here. So we'll take a look at Hammerhead to begin with. Now this is the card back that we all wanted the Hammerhead in the main line to be packaged on. This is the classic original 96 Hammerhead card back. No sign of Momar Nadon in the name pill, of course, because it's trying to mimic the original card. And I've got to say, these are beautiful card backs, unpunched, in perfect condition. The box really does protect them. And there you can see Hammerhead in his blue outfit, in that bubble there, with his head turned, just like they were back in the day. And he is VC 376 in the line. There you can see the figure outside. So as I said, you know, this is the classic card back, the classic size and dimensions. This is what we wanted for the hammerhead in the main line. So any of you guys that are picking up this set, maybe you want to display this one instead. Next up we have Walrus Man, and as you can see they have used the classic image from the original figure from back in the Kenna days. It is a painting essentially, or a drawing. It is not like the others where it is, you know, taken from like a press shot or straight from the movie. This was always a bit of a weird card back, but it's one of my favourites, it really is. And as you can see there, the figure is painted in his Kenna colours, except for the fact that he doesn't have full blue arms, he just has like a stripe on them, but essentially it looks like it. And they've included 2 spare hands. That's slightly different to the mainline release, where you also got that replaceable arm, so you could recreate the point where Obi-Wan chops it off. VC 377 in the line. That is Walrus Man. Next up we've got Greedo, which is the one that I've been waiting for the most, really. Look at that card back, absolutely fantastic, exactly like the original Kenna version. And this image is not going to be the card back that we get with the HasLab Cantina, with the, you know, the proper sort of movie accurate Greedo. This is the Kenna style Greedo. But when we open this figure, this will be the first time we get a good look at the new Greedo figure, because essentially, you know, this is just a repaint of that version that we're getting with the Cantina. So it'll be still interesting to look at this figure when we open it. VC 378. I still would like them to release the movie accurate Greedo on this card back, just so I can have it in my collection basically in that sort of combination. But for the moment this is all we have, but not for me because I'm going to be opening this one in the video. And finally we've got Blue Snaggletooth. He's just named Snaggletooth on the card back. As I mentioned before, Kenna never actually released the Blue Snaggletooth on a card, so this is the first time that we have this image of Blue Snaggletooth. I've seen customizers do it over the years. Of course, the figure itself is just a repaint of the Zutton figure that we got in the main line. But this image here, you know, is the original image from the original Snaggletooth back from the Kenna days, except for the fact that they've changed his outfit from red to blue to obviously match the figure there. So that is the Snaggletooth in his blue outfit, and he is VC 379 in the line. Right, so before we open these figures and check them out, we are going to take a look at the cardboard backdrop. Okay, so here is the cardboard backdrop for the Mos Eisley Cantina, and it's kind of shot from the outside with a doorway looking in. You've got some, you know, notable characters on there. We've got Garandan, for example. We've got a sand trooper. You've got some people in there at the bar. You've got a droid outside, and it is a pretty much, you know, exact replication of that original backdrop from the Sears set from back in the Kenna days, and I think they've done a pretty good job. You can see that we've also got like footmarks and tire tracks on the ground there, on the sand outside of the entrance. So essentially, you know, we can open up the figures and display them outside, and if you wanted to, you could mix and match with some of your other vintage collection figures to create a little diorama. But for me, that is kind of where the problem with this set arises, in that I feel it's kind of like a standalone piece, because, you know, you can't really, or for me anyway, I don't really want to be displaying this Walrus Man with the rest of my vintage collection figures, because he's just not going to fit. And I guess that's why some people argued that this may have done better as like a retro collection set, and I fully agree. If they'd released this as a retro collection set, you know, it would have gone down pretty well. I'm sure lots of people would have liked it. However, I do like the fact that we do have, as I mentioned, Blue Snaggletooth in the line, and we also have that hammerhead as well. I think that's a pretty cool nod. Do I need a Greedo looking like this in my vintage collection dioramas or, you know, displays? Probably not. I'm really looking forward to the one that comes with the Cantina, basically. But I still think they're pretty cool. We're going to open up the figures now, and we're going to check them out in a bit more detail, and then we'll get them on the front of that Cantina. Okay then, so here they all are, taken off of their cards, and I've got to say, with them all standing there together like this, I'm getting the nostalgia feels. I really am. I think they look fantastic. They really do. As I mentioned, I don't think I'm going to be displaying them with my movie accurate figures, but these definitely could be like a sub display somehow, maybe even on that card backdrop if I can find the space. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly move the camera to take a look at my cabinet that we have just back there, so you can see the 4 figures of what they look like in the original Kenna line. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to take a closer up look at each of them and just take a very quick comparison against their movie accurate counterpart except for obviously Greedo, because we don't have him yet. Alright, sorry about the glare and reflection there, but there you can see we've got Greedo, Hammerhead in his blue. Then we've got the blue Snaggletooth, which I need to say a big thank you once again to Collector1970 for actually gifting me that figure all those years ago. Thank you so much, buddy. And there we have Walrus Man as well in the bright orange. So that just gives you an idea of what they look like back in the Kenna days. Okay, so first of all, we're going to be taking a look at Hammerhead there, and you can see there he does have the eyes looking one way, which is a classic feature of the Kenna figure. And the only sort of noticeable difference between this one and the deluxe version is this one is lacking any type of paint application. So we don't have any paint in the mouth. There's no sort of paint on his skin to bring out some of the details. And that's probably intentional because obviously, you know, they're trying to make this figure look like the sort of Kenna releases. And obviously those didn't really have any paint applications on them either. They were just plastic. So this is trying to mimic that. But he does have, you know, all of the articulation that awesome Hammerhead has. You know, the head is absolutely superb. The scarf is removable. He has the soft goods. He has the barbell hips. He has absolutely everything that you're going to want. And he looks really, really good. I think this one would probably pass, you know, walking around more precisely in our displays. It's not too garish. But here's the movie accurate version, the deluxe version, if you like. And yeah, so this one's going to be sitting in my Cantina, and this one I might have as like a sort of passerby or something outside the streets. But yeah, there's a little comparison for you. Don't really want to take too much time looking at them because essentially they are the same figure that we've already had, but just a repaint. Now, even though Hammerhead might be able to pass in my displays, I'm not too sure if this guy will. This guy has got, you know, seriously outlandish colours, bright blue, bright orange. And once again, you know, no paint applications on the head in terms of what they mentioned about the reissue where they sort of painted those whiskers on. You can see there the black and the green. He has this like bright green head, which again kind of matches the original Kenna vibes. You can see the blue stripe down his jacket there. So yeah, I'm not too sure how I'm going to really display this guy. I might move this one on, I don't know. But yeah, unlike the Hammerhead, I'm not too sure how much he can pass being in my displays, but still cool to have. And that's Walrus Man. Next up, we've got Blue Snaggletooth, and he is definitely going to be in my displays. This is going to be one that can pass for being in the Cantina, no problem whatsoever. You can have him chilling at the bar. He's got those famous silver boots, and if you've got a figure from back in the day, you'll be lucky if the boots still have, you know, perfect silver paint on them. If you've got one that does, then you're a very lucky person because most of them sort of, you know, rubbed off to some extent anyway. And there is Snaggletooth, and here is Zutton, which is the sort of red version that we got in the vintage collection. As I mentioned, just a repaint. But I think it's going to be very plausible to have both of these hanging around the Cantina. And also you can see his little silver belt buckle as well, which is another nod to the Kenna version, which had like a belt bucket in the shape of like a Z, I think it was. I've actually got this one's blaster tucked away in his sort of holster belt on the back there. This guy's holding his, but yeah. You can just see basically that they've used slightly different coloured plastic, and yeah, there's no paint applications really. Although, you know, this one you can see the paint applications in his eyes and in his mouth. You've even got the tooth there. So yeah, very, very cool Blue Snaggletooth. Great nod to Kenna, and yeah, this one's definitely going to be in my display. And then finally, we've got Greedo, and this one I don't have anything to compare it to. I'm not going to bother comparing this one to the Saga Collection, the Vintage Saga Collection version. I don't feel that there's any point in doing that. What we need is the one that comes with the HasLab to fully compare, because this is obviously using the same sculpt. But man, I've got to say, holding this feels just like holding the original Kenna figure of Greedo. It really, really does. It feels like it's almost identical, man. It does. The only real difference is that the original Kenna one had sort of boots on, whereas this one doesn't. His trousers go all the way down to his shoes. But you can see all the detailing on his belt there, the little silver buckles, and the different greens that they've used for his outfit and his head and hands and everything. It's just like a two-tone figure. Very, very cool. But let's check out the articulation, because this is going to be the same as the new figure. And also, I think that might be a blaster that we've never had before. You'll have to let me know in the comments section, but I don't think, if I can remember rightly, we've had a figure that has that blaster. But in terms of the articulation, the head is on a double barbell. I wouldn't say it's got a huge range of motion. It could be a lot better, really, in my opinion. But obviously he has really good shoulder joints, really good elbow joints. He does have hinges at the wrists, but they were concealed by the sleeve there. It was actually quite difficult to see if he did have them, but he does, and they do work. So that one's got the up and down, and this one, it looks like they've both got the up and down wrists. He has a torso joint, which is hidden by the belt. The belt is a separate piece. You can just see there, it's going right up his body. And that also has the holster. Barbell hips, split at the top of the thigh. Knee joints that go past 90, and then rocker ankles. So it is pretty weird having a super articulated Greedo looking like this, because as I said, it's just like holding the original Kenna version. But there's the details on the head. If you can just imagine what this one's going to be like, you know, painted. You just see some of those details coming through on the back of its head. Very, very cool. And that's Greedo, man. Yeah, I cannot wait to get the, you know, the Vintage Collection one from the HasLab, the proper Greedo. I think that's going to be an awesome figure, so long as it matches what it looked like in the press photos for it anyway. But that's Greedo. And there you go then, guys. That is the Cantina Adventure Set display complete. We've got all 4 of the figures now on the cardboard backdrop, and I can only imagine the fun that kids would have had with the original Sears exclusive version of this set back in what, the late 70s. Would have been awesome. Never owned one myself. I would have liked one, that is for sure. Certainly would have liked the blue snaggletooth, but now we have it in modern form, in form of a Vintage Collection set. As I say, it's a little bit gimmicky, I guess, but I love this sort of thing, man. I love the nods back. If you think about the Vintage Collection and what it is, with the racetrack design card backs, you know, it started off as being a nod to the original Kenna line, and obviously they put Kenna on everything as well instead of Hasbro, at least on the front of the cards anyway. So, you know, that's what it's all about. So I love it when they do this sort of thing as well, to, you know, really give it a good nod and a big sort of nostalgia push. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this set? Are you even going to be opening yours? Are you even going to be opening the card backs? You know, what are you going to be doing with it? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members as always. Your support means a great deal to me, so thank you so much. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we shall see you on the next one.